While we were away last week, the nation suffered a terrible loss with the news of the death of Prince in Minneapolis. We weren't on the air last week, so we didn't do a tribute to him last week. A lot of people, of course, have weighed in on the passing of Prince in the last couple of weeks, and a lot of what needs to be said about him and what I would say has already been said by others, and probably better than I would say it myself. But there is one angle on remembering Prince, on the memory of Prince, that hasn't been taken, and it's this. Every great artist is a reflection and an integration and a reassembly of all the influences and forces that shaped him or her. So you really, I think a great artist takes the input from all sorts of inspirations and creates something new out of it. So thinking about Prince's work in that light, I came across a playlist, a party playlist that Prince had put together of not music of his own, but music that he loved. That the show, A New Girl. Several years ago, the plot theme was that the characters were going to be invited to a party hosted by Prince. So when he found out, he sent the producer a mix of what he would play at an actual party. And it tells us a lot about Prince the artist, in my opinion, because it synthesizes a lot of his influences. For example, there's City in the Sky by the Staples Singers in there. Very funky, but very spiritual, which I think if you know anything about Prince's biography, good description of him as well. There are a couple songs in there by Alan Toussaint, the brilliant producer, pianist, singer, songwriter, best known for some of the music he's written and produced, including Working in a Coal Mine for Lee Dorsey and so on. So some great tracks, Country John, and I forget the other one by, Back in Baby's Arms by Alan Toussaint. A couple tracks by the Ohio Players. It doesn't get better than that on the funk front. Fire and Skin Tight, which is as good a representation of the Ohio Players as you can get. A song by Shuggie Otis. Now, Shuggie Otis, not well known nowadays, but at one point he was Prince before Prince was Prince. He's a brilliant guitar player, writes his own songs. When he was a teenager, he had a record out that's been recently re-released, Recommended Inspiration Information it's called, where he played all the instruments. Very Prince-like, kind of laid the ground for him. So there's a song by Shuggie in there. There's Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. A lot of great covers on this list. Chaka Khan doing I Was Made to Love Him, the Stevie Wonder song. The Isley Brothers doing Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. And when the Isley Brothers do it, it sounds like a gospel song. It's awesome. Eugene McDaniels, who originally became famous as Gene McDaniels in the early 60s, did a very far out jazz kind of apocalyptic religious music. The Lord Is Back by Eugene McDaniels is on the list. Eugene McDaniels, big radical, called himself the Left Reverend Mr. McDaniels. That's how he addressed himself. Sister Sledge, but obscure tracks. Bootsy Collins, Parliament, The Soul Children. Great list of people again there. The Spinners, couple tracks by the Spinners. Here's another thing that this playlist, which I encourage you to look up, it's on Boing Boing and on Spotify. Another thing the playlist shows you is that Prince knew how to control the mood of a party. It starts out funky, it gets funkier and funkier, it builds up to energy, and then it cools out with some slow jams at the end so that you can get romantic. It even includes the Isley Brothers doing a James Taylor song, Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. I think that's a James Taylor song. Then it gets into the Spinners, a romantic ballad from the Jacksons, and pretty much lets you chill out from there. And we will chill out with our memories of Prince after this.